When we release the video in less than 48 hours, I hope in 24 hours, you'll catch all the facts. So my comments are off by a bit, they'll be clarified as you watch the critical incident video and all the raw video that will come with it. And so as he begins to run, the car video shows Mr. McClain running between the two cars with a handgun in his waist. The driver officer sees the handgun. The passenger officer sees the handgun when he begins to run. They begin to chase Mr. McClain, one of the officers out in front. And during that encounter, within just seconds later, there are 2 shots fired by the officer as he's chasing him. You'll see this on the video again. And the officer could see Mr. McClain with the handgun begin to turn his body towards him. I don't know if they're making eye contact or not until I read the statements. The video won't give us that perspective if they're making eye contact or not. But you can see the weapon begin to kind of turn the body. Whether that just comes from turning the head or something more was going to happen, there's no way for us to ever know that fact. So that it continues on. The officer, in fear for his safety, and for whatever reasons we'll find out, fires 2 rounds. One of those rounds, as we've heard, we were told that as Mr. McClain was laying on the ground, he was shot 3 times in the arm. Absolutely false information. As the pursuit's beginning, the foot pursuit, he fires the 2 rounds. One of the shots, as described by the doctor at HMH, strikes Mr. McClain's flank. The flank is between the front of your body and the back of your body. If that means the officer was, offset to Mr. McClain, or in fact, he began turning his body that way, we'll have to be able to investigate that to find out which one it is. I couldn't tell you, except that the officer is behind him when he fires his 2 shots.
All we can do is make sure that Black Lives Matter and other groups keep pressure on the DA to say that we got a video. What else you got to investigate? You don't need to say no more, just watch the video.
Looking at the video that Pasadena Police provided to the public to justify their version, as soon as Anthony started to run, the officer went like this with his hand on his gun. What does that tell you?
He was about to shoot first and ask questions later. He was going to shoot first and ask questions later. It was intended, and sometimes, most of the time, these officers know the person they're targeting. Sometimes it's an orchestrated hit. Okay? So that's all I'm able to say about that right now, so I'm able to word it differently because I know a little bit extra stuff. But sometimes they go after me because it's a hit. And they didn't hit squad. You got Officer Matthew Griffin, who was part of the Kendrick McDade murder, but he's also a part of Reginald J.R. Thomas's murder. So why are we going to keep letting this man patrol our community? He has 2 murders under his belt.
And for those viewers who hear what Jasmine is saying, we had Kendrick McDade, 19-year-old. He was shot and killed by the Pasadena Police in 2012. Matthew Griffin
and Jeffrey Newland.
And in 2017, we lost Reginald Thomas he wasn't shot, but he was killed by the Pasadena Police.
He was choked, he was hogtied, he was beaten, he was spit on in front of his 6 children.
And none of these officers were terminated.
Nope.
None of them were prosecuted.
Nope.
None of them were, to my knowledge, even were they suspended for any.
Nope.
So, with this particular case involving Anthony McClain, it gives the viewers, the community, and it makes the city now be put right in the spot of being accountable because we got video. And we got video from the very inception at the point where they were stopped moving forward. And because now we have a conflict with their story, which one is the right one? The video or their story?
The video. And we also know that Chief Perez, if somebody was harboring a fugitive, they would be prosecuted too, right? And now Chief Perez is harboring a fugitive. They are hiding evidence, right? All those are crimes. So with those being said, that's why we want him fired and prosecuted as well. We're asking people to sign that petition.
All right. And with that being said, this is Alan Shea signing off. Jasmine, I want to thank you. Can I get a hug for you?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And this is what community is all about. And hopefully you folks who are watching this enjoy today's show and certainly became educated about the process, because when you only see one side of it, trust me, it's easy to be influenced or persuaded by what you heard. But today you got both sides, so thank you. All
So the officer fired likely because he was worried the individual was probably going to turn to fire at him. We are part of what has occurred. We were the officers that shot that bullet that took their son's life. We are responsible and accountable for that event that happened.